Hello, everyone, and
Hello.
welcome to Totally Random Thoughts. I am Bree,
I am Tag.
and welcome to our podcast.
Together we are.
Bree and Tag.
Oh yeah, that's right. How you guys doing this week?
Good.
It's been quite a week.
It's been a hellishly busy week.
Has it been?
It has been.
Yes, it has been. My house fell apart this week. Did I not tell you about this?
No.
Oh yes, yes. My house decided to take a dump inside of itself. Yeah, so it's been that kind of week for me. So my septic clogged, and then last Saturday, my wife and I were going on a date, and she takes a shower, and then all that shower wound up in the basement because it went down and it
didn't go in the recording studio.
It hit the septic, and it came back, and the first port of entry into the house, or exit, if you will, was the laundry room. So it flooded the laundry room.
Well, at least it wasn't the recording studio.
And then it ran under the wall into the office and under the wall into the theater. We have a small movie theater in the house. And it flooded. I don't want to say flooded, because when you think flooded, you think lots and lots of water. It made enough of a mess that it soaked the rug through both rooms completely, all three rooms. And since it hit the septic, they couldn't say if it was septic water or just shower. So when they came to do the clean out, they tested it and they said, you know, if this was just shower water, we would run some fans and be done. But since it hit your septic, now we have to rip out your whole basement. So currently my basement is completely ripped out. Up to about 20 inches of sheetrock off the floor got soaked, so they cut it all out. And all of our rugs are gone, and 2 of our theater chairs got wet, so they're gone. And they ripped out the floor in the laundry room because the tile got soaked into the grout. So we're, you know what? Look. We still went out because we were like, well, there's nothing we can do right now. Let's just go on our date. And we went out that night. And then Sunday we made all the phone calls. And I should say my wife handled it because I had to teach on Sunday. And the demo team came over, and then the plumber came over and uncleared the clog. And the septic guy came over and made sure the septic was good. And everything was handled, and we're looking at it very nicely as, look, we have insurance. Insurance is covering it all because it hit septic. And for our $500 deductible, we're renovating the basement. So we're getting like a
silver lining
$30,000 renovation for $500.
There you go.
We're getting all new sheetrock, all new paint. They're going to have to get us new furniture because our furniture got ruined. New floor in the laundry room. So we're basically revamping the basement for the cost of a deductible. So silver lining, I guess you could look at it that way. Yeah. But
that's why you have homeowners insurance, right?
What was that?
That's why you have homeowners
Absolutely.
insurance, right?
That's right. I'll make sure you have your policy is up to date.
My homeowner's insurance.
Oh yeah, isn't yours having fun right now?
We had similar Sundays. Yours was much worse than mine, but just like with house stuff. So we woke up. My husband took Sunday off. We woke up Sunday morning. I don't know why my ear is so itchy. I'm sorry. I'm over here like...
You have cooties?
Maybe. We woke up Sunday morning to a small flood in our furnace room.
Oh, come on. Seriously?
Seriously.
You didn't tell me this. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it was luckily just...
By the way, just so you know, we do this on Fridays. So
yeah.
we've both gone the whole week without telling each other this.
Right, yeah. So now we're just playing catch up. Sorry you guys are listening to it. But you know what? This is life. Woke up to a small flood in the furnace room. It had kind of started to seep into the wall of that abuts the laundry room and the bathroom. And I was like,
you just said that.
I did. So that was fun. Luckily, it was just a small valve in some of the pipes that come off of the furnace. And one of them broke and said, I give up. And it was dumping water out of a drain pipe that leads to nowhere, that is only there if you need to bleed the furnace or whatever.
Yes.
But it was just deciding to dump it everywhere randomly. So we threw some speedy dry. Yeah. Randomly. So we threw some speedy dry. And then thank God my dad's friend, who's a plumber, lives 10 minutes away and was around and was like, I'll be there in 3 hours. And he had a valve. he had the valve we needed in his truck.
Oh, that's perfect.
So I was like, oh, thank God. But then like while we were waiting for him to get here and like the whole rest of the day, we're outside power washing our house. I was like a wet rat outside power washing my own house. And like the walkway and everything else and just trying to make it look as pristine as possible because
didn't your insurance give you some shit for your house having some pollen on it?
Yeah, pretty much. So if you're a homeowner, beware right now. Homeowners insurance companies are out of their minds, even more than they normally are. And they're apparently very much cracking down and like trying to find any reason to cancel people.
They don't like my house is green half the time.
Yeah. So
we live on a bog.
Listen,
we live on a bog, so like we get
there's a bog at the end of my street.
Yeah, so we get this pollen. It just envelopes the house.
And we're
crazy.
in New England, and New England is pretty much the Pacific Northwest at this point with the amount of
rain
we've
been
been
envelops? Getting. Which one is that for that?
I say it's either or. It's like a caramel kind of thing. I feel like. Maybe I'm wrong, but
no, it's caramel.
No, it's caramel. There's 2 A's in that word. Anyway, so long story short, we tried to save money, and we were like, "Why haven't we bundled all of our insurances?" So
did you call Flo?
No. So we bundled all of our insurances, and the company. You know what? I'm going to out them. Travelers Insurance. We bundled with them. Was going to be great savings, great rate, whatever. And within 2 weeks of bundling everything, they were like, we don't want your house specifically for literally the stupidest reasons. And then we found out the day after we found that out about our policy, 2 other people that we know from this area, we found out they did the same thing to them. And they've been with Travelers for like 10 years.
No, that's, they're
literally the other person I know, they did it to him over a small patch of moss on one corner of his roof because there's a tree near his house.
Wow.
And he's like, I take it off every spring.
Yeah. We have moss on the front low roof of my house because all the trees by us drop everything and it grows over the winter and we power wash it off in the spring.
But yeah, you know what? Silver linings though, because we were able to find another policy that's actually going to be even cheaper.
Nice.
So much so that like we just kind of said screw it and we paid it outright for the year.
Oh, there you go.
So the mortgage will hopefully go down a little bit every month for at least a year. And so that's my silver lining, but we still took all the precautions and because we were told by our broker that they're all being like this right now, so like expect a random inspection because it's a new policy. So
well, probably the insurance adjuster has to come to our house now to look at everything. Thankfully the contractor that we got, so it was a cool little thing, we used the plumber that we use. So our regular plumber doesn't do septic stuff. So we called a plumber who had helped us out about a year ago for a clog on like a Sunday, or an entire sink clogged. And they came over and they cleared out the septic. And then he recommended the demo team that we were using. They're like a Serv Pro, but they're a different company. But he's like, don't use Serv Pro. They're terrible.
Oh, yeah.
So we went with these guys. These guys recommended the contractor because they've worked with them before. Contractor comes
it's a
over.
whole community. They all know each other.
Contractor comes over, looks at everything. Who's your insurance? Who's your adjuster? We tell him, and he's like, "Oh, I've worked with her before. She's awesome. This will go nice and smooth." So across the board, they all knew each other, and everything's going to run smoothly. And the insurance adjuster is going to come over probably next week, and hopefully it'll be simple. And it's going to be about 3 weeks to a month before it's completely done because they've got to really dry out the basement now. So.
Silver linings, though.
Yes, we're getting a new basement.
That is homeownership, folks.
There you go.
So there's our little, and then at the shop, it's now March in New England, and we're starting to hit, above 45 degrees most days, and that means for some reason all hell breaks loose in the.
In what way?
In the like, why am I blanking on the word? In certain industries, like in landscaping and
Ah.
in the municipalities.
Gotcha.
As well.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
that's
so
what I
you're
was looking
seeing more
for.
trucks.
So all of a sudden this week, it's the busiest week we've had in I don't know how long, which is, I mean, thankful to have those types of weeks and to have that much business, but just a stressful like work yourself to the bone kind of week on top of the house crap and the whatever. So that is adulting. That is life sometimes, and you just have to try and find the silver linings.
And I just opened the new wellness center.
Ah, you did.
Yes, March 1st we opened.
Look at that.
So we have a brand new wellness center now.
Look at that.
So the gym is still cranking, and the wellness center is already busy, and everybody who has walked through the door has been wowed by what we built. And
Nice.
It's been a fantastic first week and a half. No, it's only
I
a
have to
week.
come to a yoga class soon. Nick and I will have
Yes,
to come.
we have brought on a brand new yoga teacher, and then our regular yoga teacher, Heather, has expanded her schedule since now we have this beautiful yoga space. And she had more people in yoga this week than she did all last month.
Amazing.
Yes, just because
I
we have
think
the space
you
now.
just needed the right space.
We did,
Yeah.
and now we have the right space, and all of the therapy and massage clients have been like, "Wow, these rooms are so great to be in."
Mm-hmm.
Like,
No, they
they're
are.
just
I
super
can
comfy.
attest to such.
Yes, you have been in it.
I have.
Yes, and we've already had people doing contrast sessions with the hot cold therapy.
Perfect.
Yes,
I'll have to try that one time. I
Oh,
want
it's
that
so good.
eucalyptus steam sauna.
I did it twice last week, and it fixed my foot.
Perfect.
I did 20 minutes in the infrared sauna, right into the ice for 3 minutes, 10-minute break, 20 minutes in the steam sauna, right back into the ice for 3 minutes, and it was glorious. I did it twice.
Nick has been feeling some ever so slight sciatica again some days.
Oh.
And his shoulder's bothering him still. So
Let's ice him.
we will have to.
Yes.
Maybe the two of us can come someday and like alternate.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So
We actually have a couple who booked a Saturday.
Yeah, we don't care if we're in the room together. You know what I mean?
Booked,
So
we have a couple who booked an entire Saturday for like a spa day kind of. They're coming
Ooh,
in
that's
and they're
an
going to
option?
do yes, yeah. We booked them. I cleared it from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock on a Saturday, and we booked them. They're going to do the contrast therapy, so they'll each start in a different sauna, and then they'll get out and back to back into the ice. Because it's only 3 minutes, so it's not that big a deal. And then they'll switch saunas, then do the ice again. Then they're both coming in for, one is getting on the table for massage with me. One's getting on the Thai platform for a Thai massage with Heather. And then they're going to do a yoga and meditation session. And I told them bring wine, bring lunch, bring fruit, bring whatever they want to bring.
nice.
Yeah, so it's I got to put a,
We'll have to
I actually have to
do-
put, I have to figure out how to put that package together.
We'll have to do a whole episode. Actually, I think we were planning on that at some point, to kind of doing some episodes surrounding health, wellness, fitness, things like that, because that is a lot of John's expertise and
Yes.
literally the businesses that he owns and what he does for a living. And I think it'd be really cool to kind of pick your brain, and
Yeah.
we can talk about the new wellness center and
Yep,
learn
and
all that
we're
stuff.
going to bring, at some point, we're going to bring my yoga instructor, Heather, on. And she's going to talk about what she does and mindfulness and everything from the yogic life. And then we have our new therapist coming on. She's a psychologist, and we're going to be doing seminars on different psychological needs for health and wellness. So we'll bring her on here as well at some point.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We have a lot planned.
Yeah.
But
what
for,
are we talking about
for
today?
today's
besides this?
plan, I know we just kind of rattled on. Sorry, that happens sometimes.
okay.
But speaking of adulting
Yes.
and all of these adult things that we have to deal with, something that a lot of adults have to deal with is being a parent.
Ooh, some shouldn't.
That's what we're going to get into a little bit. Now, I will preface this. I am not yet a parent. I am
You're a dog mom.
I'm a dog mom. I like to think that I am a, super great auntie to quite a few nieces and nephews now, and we absolutely love them, and I'm with them like every weekend and, all that fun stuff, but not yet a parent myself, but have these last couple of years been very much listening to and helping out with a lot of, my friends and relatives that have been having children. So been around it. And I think that just because you're not a parent doesn't mean you can't have parenting opinions per se. Like, obviously you don't know till you're fully in it how you're going to
Yeah.
handle things.
Yes.
But you can have what you think
can
is
have,
right and wrong.
You
or,
can have an opinion.
Right. Exactly.
But
I mean, everyone can have an opinion about anything.
It's like the old saying goes, everybody's tough till they get punched in the face.
Exactly.
Until you've had a kid who's been on a tantrum for 2.5 hours,
right.
you can't really say how you would handle said tantrum.
This is where this will be interesting, because I am not yet a parent, but you are a parent of 2 children.
Yes.
A boy and a girl.
Yes.
So you kind of have
9-year-old girl and a
very
4-year-old boy.
well-rounded scenario here.
Yes.
And you're starting to get into the preteen years with your first child.
Yes, she'll be 10 next month.
So, wow. Anyway,
yeah.
So this, if I could talk, guys, it's been a long week. Something that has been a very large topic in society, I would say even this last year, is the idea of certain types of parenting, particularly gentle parenting. And I'm not sure what we're going to title this, but it'll probably be something along the lines of, has gentle parenting become passive parenting? Are the parents the problem?
Yes.
I mean, I would say yes, but let's dive into it. So,
no, I'm going to say yes, and I'm not going to make any bones about it. The generation after mine.
So I'm going to get into that. I've done some research.
Has significantly softened.
I've done some research.
Because everybody gets a trophy.
Listen, the participation trophies. What do you mean?
Yeah.
So I've done some research here. So now you're Generation X, correct?
I am. Yep.
So you're in between the boomers and millennials, which is
correct.
I'm like a younger millennial.
Yes.
So we're both kind of in the middle of what tend to be the most attacked generations on social media.
Yeah, nobody really messes with Gen X because we're the last feral generation. We were latchkey kids. We didn't have all the
everyone just blames boomers.
Yeah, everybody just blames boomers. We didn't have we were out the door when the sun came up and back in the house when the sun came down. And, there's that old thing, you drank from the hose. You did because if you didn't want to go back, you went back in the house, you didn't come back out. So you stayed out all day. We didn't have all the things they have now.
Right. So there's this theory that really is kind of showing to be true as time goes on when it comes to the generational gaps and how the different generations are handling different things within society. And there's this idea that millennials have adapted the concept of gentle parenting, which is kind of seemingly a newer term for what was previously deemed or titled authoritative parenting, in response to the kind of much harsher parenting style that a lot of their boomer parents instilled onto them. They almost kind of went too far the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And now there's a lot of people that it's just completely spiraling out of control. And it seems that a lot of parents are almost afraid to parent at this point, as if, if they provide any consequences or any boundaries or any discipline at all to their kids, that it's now a form of abuse or something crazy like that. So just to give you some background, and this is from an actual published article through the Cleveland Health Clinic, a .org site. We're not looking on BuzzFeed or anything for this information.
It's only quality stuff on the show.
Yeah. So precisely. Listen, I know how to do research.
We're just going to get all our stuff off TikTok.
So just to kind of give some background, there is what, according to most sources, there's 4 styles of parenting that have kind of become most common and have been given a name and a definition. So just to give some background to understand as we discuss this. The first is going to be authoritarian parenting. Try and say that 5 times fast.
Okay.
So parents of this style tend to have a one-way mode of communication where they just establish strict rules that the child obeys. There's little to no room for negotiations, and the rules are not usually explained to the child. They expect their children to uphold these standards while making zero errors, and the mistakes usually lead to punishment. These types of parents are normally less nurturing and have high expectations with limited flexibility, which can lead to their children unfortunately having poor self-esteem, further reinforces their inability to make their own decisions, things of that nature.
Those parents create serial killers.
Fair.
I'm being serious.
Or super rebellious kids that end up getting into a lot of trouble or making just bad choices because they are just so desperate to get away from such like control. They feel like they have no control over their own life.
Right.
Next would be authoritative parenting, which is more so what gentle parenting is supposed to be modeled after. So this type of parenting, the parent develops a close, nurturing relationship with their children. They have clear guidelines for their expectations, and they explain their reasons associated with disciplinary actions. Disciplinary methods are used as a way of support instead of punishment per se. Not only can children have input into goals and expectations, but there are also frequent and appropriate levels of communication between the parent and their child. In general, this parenting style leads to the healthiest outcomes for children, but requires a lot of patience and effort from both sides. So this can result in children who are more confident, responsible, able to self-regulate. They can manage their negative emotions more effectively, which leads to better social outcomes and emotional health outcomes. Since these parents also encourage independence, their children will learn that they are capable of accomplishing goals on their own, and it results in children with a higher level of self-esteem and high levels of academic achievement and school performance. So that's kind of what gentle parenting was originally meant to be modeled after, less just because I said so, or because I'm the parent, or strict rules with no explanation, punishment over nothing, seeming, something small with no explanation as to why they're being punished.
That's basically how Laureen and I parent.
Yes. So you're more authoritative.
We give our kids boundaries. They have to stay in the boundaries for their own good.
And you remain firm on those boundaries.
We remain firm on the boundaries, but we speak to our kids. I've never hit my kids. I mean, they get yelled at on occasion, when they're completely out of line.
Yeah.
But my son threw a tantrum last night. We have a firm rule in the house. We have a very big common living area, okay? So if you throw a tantrum, you're in the living room, dining room, and kitchen all at once, okay? My rule is for him, now granted, he's 4 years old. We're still in the tantrum world at 4 years old. Mm-hmm. His regulation of emotions is still coming online in a lot of ways. But the rule that I have instilled is, if you have your tantrum, you have to go up to your room and have it. You are fully allowed to have your feelings and your tantrum and express yourself, but you cannot disrupt the entire house to do it. What I have found is, if I let him tantrum downstairs before this came in, it would be a long experience. I bring him to his room, and I say to him, buddy, you can have this tantrum. You cannot do it downstairs. You are allowed your feelings. When you're done with your tantrum, I will come get you. But you're not allowed back downstairs until this is over. 5 minutes. Because once he's in the room by himself, it's no longer fun. He can't push buttons.
Well, and it's no longer potentially going to garner a reaction from you guys.
So typically what'll happen is about 2.5 minutes in, I get the daddy, I'm ready, and I open the door, and he starts over again, and I try to get him to calm down, and he won't. So, okay, bud, when you're done, I'll be back. Shut the door, and I never leave the doorway. I'm standing outside the door. Mm-hmm. Within another 2 to 3 minutes, almost every time, we're done. He has backed himself down. He'll call me back into the room. I'll go in and sit with him. We will talk about it. I will hug it out. What he has started saying to us in the tantrum is, I don't know how to calm myself down. Because
but
now
he's
I have
recognizing
him
that at 4 years old.
About the fact that you need to calm down to come back downstairs into the family area. He's recognizing at 4 years old he needs to, but he doesn't have the mental skills yet to be able
because
to...
he's 4.
Because he's 4.
But the fact
to
that
dial
he's-
himself down.
But the fact that he's already becoming that self-aware
Yes.
and thinking about things
and
like
was
that
the
at
goal when
4
I started
years
this.
old.
That was the goal when I started this. I don't need them to stop tantruming. You're 4. Throw a tantrum.
Yeah. They don't know how to emotionally regulate yet.
But I want to teach you that A, you can't disrupt the house to have it, and B, you have to start to learn how to regulate it, how to learn it.
It's okay to
And-
feel your feelings, but
Yes.
handle them in an appropriate fashion.
Absolutely.
That's not going
So
to...
Last night I sat with him, and we train wrecked over Legos last night because we asked him to put his Legos away because it was bedtime. And he wanted help. And I said, you made the mess, buddy. You have to clean it up.
Accountability, self-accountability.
And he started with he's cleaning the whole time. I need help. I need help. I need help. And
As he's physically doing it.
As he's doing it. And he
So
ramped,
he's capable of doing
he
it.
ramped up, and we all ignored him. So he just kept ramping up because nobody was paying attention. As soon as he hit the point where it was out of control, I took him upstairs. And this time, though, I sat with him. And it took about 45 minutes because he kept trying to negotiate with me. I should have left the room. But it was, I want to go down and see Mom. Not while you're tantruming. I want to go brush my teeth because it's bedtime. Not until you're done tantruming. I want to go downstairs and get my water. Not while you're tantruming. And I stood firm on we're not leaving the room until this is over.
But see, that's a good boundary. And you didn't sit there and get mad and start yelling or
He
saying
sat on my
like
lap.
you're being ridiculous or you need to stop or this and that. You still let him feel his feelings.
Absolutely.
But you kept that boundary firm of you feel them in your own time and space without completely disrupting others. You need to be aware of how you can affect other people in this room.
Right. Now, does he get
doing.
yelled at sometimes? Absolutely.
There's stressful
We're
days for
we're
everybody.
human, and we have stressful days, and we yell at them. My parents, now here's the fun part. My parents were born in the 30s, okay? So they were definitely, that was, that generation. We never got hit growing up. We got yelled at plenty.
Spanking was a big thing
And
back
we
then,
never got
too.
spanked. We got, my dad had a bark that was so good, you were afraid enough just from that to get in your room and be good.
Yeah.
And I inherited that bark, which is great because it does come in handy on ending a situation. But we're firm, and there's times when my wife will negotiate, and I say, don't negotiate with the 4-year-old. There's a way to negotiate. You're letting him run the conversation. No. You can give them choices, but you still got to stay in control of the situation.
Right.
And that's where I think there's a generation of parents now that are just not staying in control of the situation.
We're getting into that.
They're not staying in control of the situation. They're letting the kids dictate the rules.
Right. So that's the
How's
the
that for
next,
a segue?
Look at that. So that's the next form of parenting. So this is what a lot of people are thinking, that the gentle parenting has now spiraled, and a lot of people have either misconstrued or lost sight of the actual idea of gentle parenting, and it has become more of this style of parenting, which is permissive parenting or passive parenting. So these parents tend to be warm, nurturing, and usually have minimal or no expectations. They impose limited rules on their children. Communication does remain open, but parents allow their children to figure things out for themselves. These low levels of expectations usually result in rare uses of discipline. So they act kind of more like friends than parents. This can lead to children with unhealthy eating habits, especially regarding snacks, increased risks of obesity and other health problems later in the child's life. The child also has a lot of freedom as they decide their bedtime, if or when they do homework, screen time with the computer and television. Freedom to this degree can lead to other negative habits as the parent does not provide much guidance on moderation. Overall, children of permissive parents usually have some self-esteem and decent social skills. However, they can be impulsive, demanding, selfish, and lack self-regulation.
Yeah.
And then The last one is uninvolved parenting, which is basically just the parent completely stays out of the
Let 'em
way.
go buck wild.
They fulfill the child's basic needs, but they're completely detached from the
Yeah.
child emotionally
That's
and in
somebody who
other
didn't
ways.
want to be a parent and wound up being a parent and doesn't want to be a parent.
And they basically keep the child fed and clothed,
That's
but
it.
that's about it.
You're alive. I'm doing my job.
So, those kids end up being resilient and self-sufficient, but there's a lot of, it's developed out of necessity,
Right.
not out of just sheer, determination or motivation. And they can have a lot of trouble controlling their emotions, less coping strategies, academic challenges, and can have trouble maintaining their own relationships as they become adults, because they're so used to such a detachment style. They're almost too independent, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And there's a fine line because our kids are fairly independent and we nurture, it's like my daughter's 9 and she's a very independent kid, and it's to the point now, if we're late getting her off the school bus, she'll just get off the school bus, walk home, take the dog for a walk because it's one of her chores. She'll take Junie out for a walk and then she'll go back and she knows that she's allowed to have her tablet time. Like let's say on Wednesdays, I pick her up and we get her off the bus. She can have her tablet until I leave to go get her brother from school. Mm-hmm. When I leave to go get her brother from school, she has to do her homework and it has to be done before I get back.
But I think that's a great routine for her.
Yep. And then when I get back,
there's balance and there's give and take, and she has that sense of responsibility and
Yes.
being able to manage her time.
Yep.
But she also gets rewards, simultaneously.
Right.
And I think that's a great balance
But
to,
I'm
to
also
teach
a
her how to
schedule dad.
utilize.
I'm a schedule dad. So
Well, you're a very scheduled person in general.
right.
So.
But it works well with the kids. So on so because of the way our schedule works, my wife works from the city a couple of days a week. I have the kids. When I have the kids, when I get home with my son from school, I say to them, okay, it's we'll call it 5:30. You guys have 30 minutes to do whatever you want. 6 o'clock is dinner. I want to know just before 6 what you want for dinner, and I will make it. And my son is I need choices. I give him 2. That's it. Pick one of these 2. I don't want one of those 2. Well, I'm making you one of those 2.
Yeah.
So you pick which one it is, but that's all I'm making.
So see, that's an example of what was originally intended to be the gentle parenting tactic, with they're allowed to kind of have some self-autonomy and have a choice, but it's limited enough where there's a boundary and they need to realize they can't have everything.
Right. And then I'll do we have, let's say, a half hour for dinner. Because if I leave it there, they'll just take their time. Then I say, okay, now you guys have half hour playtime, and then we're going to watch a movie. And then at 8:30, it's shower time, bath time, and 9 o'clock we're in bed. They stick to that with me. We have a Google in the house. I will set alarms. And when the alarms go off, we go. Next piece. Boom, next piece. Next piece. My wife will negotiate, and they'll never stay on the schedule. Because she gives them too many options.
Some people,
and it's not a bad thing.
These people,
it's just a difference in how
right.
she approaches it versus I. But remember, she's 10 years younger than me.
Right.
So there's a difference in where she came up versus where I came up.
Right.
I came up under very hard-ass Italian, Sicilian parents.
Well, and I was just about to say, a lot of people that are more on that passive permissive side may even come up in arms and say that you're like military almost.
No.
But that's how far people are taking it.
Of course.
So,
but my kids will get through life. My daughter helps me build everything, right?
Oh, she's great.
She's
such a
gym,
good kid.
Right? She's helped me build everything in that gym.
She's in there laying flooring. She's awesome.
We just put the floor down in the new sauna room and the new bathroom. She helped me build all of the new cabinets, all that stuff. And she said to me a couple of weeks ago, "Dad, why do you make me do all this stuff with you?" And I was like, "So that when you get older, you don't have to ask somebody to do this. You'll know how to do this."
Girl boss. Yeah.
That's what you should be doing for your kid. If your kid is 30 years old and doesn't know how to put together an IKEA cabinet, you have a problem.
Yeah.
And it wasn't created by the kid.
No. So, rolling off of that, the idea of permissive or passive parenting kind of seems to be at the forefront of a lot of discussions on social media, in society. It's being talked about. And I think the main reason why it seems to be talked about a lot is because it seems to be happening more often. It's becoming more common, and it's, either by accident or not noticing what I don't think that people are necessarily intending to have that parenting style. Like they think they're doing the gentle parenting, but it's like it's been completely lost, the idea of what that's actually supposed to be. But it's creating a generation of, I'm just going to be blunt here, entitled, spoiled, disruptive, thankless children.
Yeah.
And we're seeing right now a lot of like teachers, educators, people who've been in those types of fields for decades that absolutely love their job and the work that they've been doing.
Yes.
They're quitting in droves. They are quitting so fast, so furious. And a lot of them are saying, like, they're hopping onto TikTok, they're hopping onto YouTube, they're making videos and talking about it. And majority of them are claiming that, you know, they're venting about their experiences, and they're claiming that they're not even just quitting because of administration or pay, which sucks. They will admit that, but they're saying the main reason that drove them to quit is how horrible it is trying to deal with and work with this newest generation of kids, which is their Gen Alpha is what they're being called. I
have a client who's a teacher, a longtime teacher, and she's first, second grade. And she has said to me a few times, this is the hardest year she's ever had as a teacher.
Yes, I remember you telling me about that. Yes.
And I have a client who just came back from a business trip. That's how was the trip. He goes, everything was great except for the last bit of the flight. They're coming in for a landing, and there's a kid running up and down the aisle of the plane. And the flight attendant...
When they're supposed to be seated and seatbelted?
Yes. The flight attendant is saying over and over, please get your kid. Other people on the plane are yelling at the mom, and she was just like, oh, he was upset about being in his seat, so I just...
It's like they just don't want to deal with it.
That's it.
Okay, then don't have a kid. Like, don't have children.
Yeah. Agreed. Don't get a puppy either.
No, because they're like having toddlers sometimes.
Yeah.
I can attest to that. They'll talk back to you.
Especially yours.
They'll talk back. If they can catch stomach bugs and things just like humans can. They'll wake you up at 2 a.m. I gotta poop. You know what I mean? Like it's still, you're responsible for another living being still.
Yes.
So there's a lot of people that just shouldn't have children, but they do. But that's a whole other rant with many different facets to it. But
and the other thing too is that I've noticed is people are having kids while they're still kids. No offense to you.
No,
at 21 years old,
listen,
you should not be having a kid.
It works
in
for
my opinion,
some.
because
it works.
You
for
don't
some.
know enough about life yet.
No.
You haven't lived enough
oh my God,
to have the experiences to be able to teach a child.
Listen.
Again, my opinion.
I'm almost 31. I'm over here like, am I ready yet? Like, I don't know. But
everybody's in a rush to get married and have a baby at 21. And it makes no sense to me.
They're not as in a rush now as I think they were even like 15, 20 years ago. It's definitely, the timelines have definitely changed, especially because of my generation, I think. The millennials very much started doing things later. I think because it was always instilled in us so much to like get your education, go get a college degree, do this, like, you know, like,
which that's another podcast.
That's a whole other,
education.
Yes.
That's a stupid scam right there.
Yep. So that'll be a whole other episode, but, and you know, we've just become, you know, we could have a whole episode on my generation and how, you know, we have kind of woken up to some of that and how burnt out we feel, and the fact that a lot of us have waited till our 30s to have kids because we didn't feel financially stable enough until then. And we barely feel financially stable enough now.
Well,
and you know, a lot of my generation is no longer, you know, we're sick of a lot of things, and we're over here like wanting to homestead and making sourdough bread. Like we're gonna start living off the land. Like we're gonna start living off the land like our ancestors.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to do that anymore.
Don't even get me started. So anyway, you know, and another thing that I've noticed a lot of these teachers and educators hopping onto social media and venting about or talking about is not only the attitudes and the entitlement and the behaviors of the children, but the performance of the children, where a lot of them are, I keep doing this with my hands tonight. I'm like,
very Italian.
Yeah. It's probably because I'm just sitting next to you, rubbing off or something.
Nice.
The performance of the children is atrocious. There's a lot of like 7th, 8th grade teachers hopping. I've seen many videos go viral. There was one teacher in particular. He is a 7th grade English teacher, and he's like, these kids are reading at a 4th grade level.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say
a lot of
this
them are
right
not
now.
up to par.
My daughter's in 4th grade, and we played catch up for the last 2.5 years from COVID, because she was in 1st grade at COVID, and who was her 1st grade teacher? Me, because she was stuck home. And we lost a lot of not only socialization skills, but her reading skills dipped. Even though we were trying to read a lot, she wasn't getting the reading skills taught to her by the teachers who should be teaching her. Mm-hmm. And in speaking to her teachers at school in 2nd grade and 3rd grade and now 4th grade, it's not just her. It's class wide that a lot of kids fell behind, very behind, after COVID. And we're still playing catch up in that regard for things like reading. Interestingly enough, she's smashing math.
So here's an interesting take, because it's interesting that you say that, because she's smashing math and she's totally at her grade level for math. So why didn't the panini have the same effect on her with math as it did with English?
Don't know.
And that's what a lot of...
She is an analytical kid. She is
so maybe she would have had this issue anyway.
She's been coding games since
no,
she's
definitely more right-brained. There's no doubt about that.
My daughter, we let her play Minecraft, right? And we noticed one day that she was on her tablet while playing the game. And I kind of have a strict rule. You're playing the game or you're on your tablet. You can't do both. And I said, what are you doing? And she's like, Dad, the game wouldn't do what I wanted it to do. So I went on YouTube and I found a video to tell me how to recode the game.
Girl's gonna be...
So I could make it do what I wanted. And I was like, okay. Say
she's
that to me again.
She's either going to be a professional coder, or she's going to be an engineer.
So she did. She started going online and learning by herself at 7 years old how to rewrite the game so she could get the colors that she wanted or the characters that she wanted. So that summer we sent her to a ID Tech camp based out of MIT, and she learned how to build Minecraft worlds from scratch by writing the code at 8 years old. And then this past summer at 9 years old, we sent her to level 2. And the level 2 is for the 11 and 12-year-olds. She did the 8 to 10 class first. There was no class for her level, so we reached out to ID Tech and said, she kind of aced your first class. I know she's only 9, but can she do the 11-year-old class? And they let her, and she aced that one. Analytical skills, the kid is quick as a whip. Her reading skills, which is interesting. You know what brought her reading skills back? Coding. She had to type and write to code. That sort of helped her start to catch back up on reading.
So that just may have been...
So it's an interesting...
That just may have been her brain in general. Like, who's to say that she wouldn't have had a similar outcome even if the pandemic didn't happen?
Yep.
You know? And I think that's always been a thing with a lot of kids. Some are more right brain, some more left brain. I was always the English kid. I hated math. I struggled in math sometimes, but I could write you a 12-page essay the night before it was due and get an A+ on it. Like it's literally just how some people's brains function.
I was a science kid.
Right.
I was
Which
okay
is
in math.
So
I was good at
funny
English,
to me because you're such a creative,
crazy, wicked science kid.
Yeah. Which is funny because no, I guess it makes sense because now you're into the wellness and the anatomy and all that stuff. But you're also such a creative, so that's kind of funny to me. But I think what these teachers are more so referencing is that, I mean, when they say that, these kids are literally like grades behind, and they're writing as if they're texting, and they're
that's
doing
something else we'll get into on another show. That the
decline of the English language and the human communication skills,
and the rise of the texting language, where these kids actually speak out loud in text.
Yeah,
they'll talk to you LOL, period, comma, because that's how they dictate to their phones.
Yeah, so it's a whole thing, but I think what a lot of people are starting to wonder.
Which my
And
daughter doesn't have yet. My
Good.
daughter does not have a phone,
Good.
and she probably won't get one at least until
Good. That's going to be in our next episode.
high school.
That concept,
Call me a weird parent, but
the iPad kids and the technology and social media with kids is going to be in our next episode.
Yeah.
So we'll hold off for that. But I think what a lot of people are wondering now, and I think the discussion that needs to be had, is, obviously a lot of parents are amazing and involved and have boundaries and, whatever. I'm not, and different things, different strokes for different folks. Different things work for every child, for every family, for every whatever. But there's obviously something going on as a whole with certain areas of society where people are becoming too passive.
well, the every kid gets a trophy generation and now turning into parents.
That
because
too.
because right now we're not in that part anymore. I think we've passed the every kid gets a trophy portion of the world. The every kid gets a trophy
But now
portion
we're getting the passive
are turning into the
parenting.
mid-20s now.
Yeah.
And they got everything they wanted, and they were always number one when they were a kid.
But they're Gen Z, and there's a lot of Gen Zers online going, they're the ones that are now becoming teachers, entering the workforce, having to deal with Gen Alpha, who are like 5 years old. And
who
they're
are the parents of
ones-
Gen Alpha?
My generation.
Right.
But that's what I said in the beginning, is a lot of millennials, I think, are taking it too far.
Yep.
They're taking it too, again, human nature. There's a lot of people, unfortunately, like there's extremists, right? With everything. There's extremists in every area whether it's religion, politics, like health, like whatever.
Right.
And I think there's kind of a select group of people who took it to the extreme where they were parented a certain way by their boomer or whoever parents, and it was very emotionally detached or emotionally immature, and a lot of yelling and no explanations, followed disciplinary action and things like that, or a feeling of lack of support or autonomy. And they've just completely flipped the switch and went in the complete opposite.
She's very violent.
Yes. And went in the complete opposite direction. Like, where now.
Yeah, but again, that's
but now,
generational.
But now they're causing fault.
In the 40s and 50s, those people, you didn't fuck around.
Right.
Shit just got done.
No, but so here's the thing.
And so when they parented you, there wasn't explanations. It's get it done. I told you to do it.
Right.
And that's all
but
you need to know.
But that's what I'm saying is I think there's.
And now it's.
Well, but I think.
Well, what do you want to do?
So this is what I'm saying. This is what people are saying. There needs to be a balance. We have to kind of find the in-between. And some people have been very good at finding it.
There was
a lot of people have successfully.
The in-betweens were here. The Gen Xers were the in-betweens.
And the older millennials. Well, kind of.
Because Gen Xers were raised with a balance of parents who were past the 30s and 40s, and they were a little more softened, but they were still hard at the same time. So we were raised to think for ourselves, to be self-sufficient, but we had caring families. The family values were huge. Like, we had a really good balance.
But see, that's what's funny, because
the whole thing.
My parents are technically boomers. They were born in 57 and 62.
Okay.
But they were on the very, very tail end of the boomers.
Right.
So they teetered between boomer and Gen X. And they, even though they're technically boomers based on the years they were born, I had a lot of that. I had, there were some moments where, it would be a rough day, or maybe we were throwing a tantrum or this and that. And it was, they would yell, or they might be like, because I said so, or, and kind of slip into that more authoritarian kind of style.
Mm-hmm.
But majority of the time it was like, no, you can't do that, but this is why. Or like trying helping us to understand, and would still be there emotionally in the sense of like, why are you crying? Like, why do you think you're feeling this way? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And trying to help.
Which is how I try to be.
Right. But I think the main question right now is, obviously there's some parents that like they need to start parenting again.
Yes.
Is the problem. But here's the question is, that a lot of people are asking is, why has it gotten this bad? Where now we're noticing a whole upcoming generation where such a majority of these kids are so misbehaved that teachers are literally quitting in droves. Why, is it that the adults are is it because the adults are too consistently burnt out due to societal and economical pressures? Does social media and external judgments play a huge role? There's so many.
Right now, your parents are the millennials who all got trophies.
My generation as much didn't. Part of it did.
The early 2000s all got trophies.
So
and now they're
section of the
25 years old
millennials.
and having kids.
My section of the millennials.
Yeah.
Like the tail end millennials.
Yep.
No, I will not deny that. I specifically remember myself being a part of that in soccer.
When you're raised to get a trophy, win or lose, you have no...
Oh, there's entitlement.
There's no, well, I still got a trophy and I didn't even have to try hard. Well, now I have a kid. I don't even have to try hard. Go do your thing.
I think some of that can kind of transfer into the other for sure. I'm fortunate again that I had parents that would kind of, hey, like, do you know why you got this trophy? You know what I mean? Like, they would kind of, that sounds awful, but they would kind of instill in me. They'd be like, I was very much aware that I didn't win, Yep.
When I grew up, you won or you got pizza.
Yeah.
You got a trophy or dad took you out to make you feel better and you got pizza.
Well, and
that was it.
So for example,
and you learned, there's there's a reason I had a good music career, and there's a reason I was able to transfer that into a second career that's doing well, because I was taught that you work hard and you win. That's kind of
working
why.
hard beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
When talent doesn't work hard, working hard wins. You can outwork great talent all day long. And that's what I think is missing right now.
Yeah.
There's no impetus in anybody to want to work hard. Now,
there's that.
Do they get called lazy like Gen
Z?
Gen Z gets called lazy, but I don't think they are. They just have a lot more options than previous generations had. When you can become TikTok famous, why go to work?
I can't fault them for that.
And that's a whole nother thing we'll talk about.
Yeah. But I think it's a mix of what you're talking about, and it's a mix of, this is getting kind of deep, guys, but I think it's a mix of that, and it's a mix of a lot of people, unfortunately, not necessarily dealing with their own childhood traumas and working through things.
But I'm also of the...
Or recognizing their childhood traumas and being, I hate to say this, being a little too sensitive about it and trying too hard to go in the other direction to like, I don't ever want to do that to my kid. I don't ever... Okay, but now you're letting your kid get away with everything and you're not teaching them.
Yeah, but here's the thing for me. And here's where I'm an asshole. Oh, you had a childhood trauma? Good. So did everybody else in the entire free world. What was your trauma? Mommy didn't give you a hug every single day? Seriously.
Yeah.
Like, people are like,
listen,
you don't understand how hard it was. No, dude. How about you get thrown out of the house at 6 a.m. and you're not allowed back in and you need to fend for yourself for 16 hours? Figure that one out and come back to me.
See, that's when you get into that kind of like detached parents.
But no, that was...
a little bit.
That was mom and dad had 2 jobs.
Yeah.
I
mean, both of my parents work full time. Like, you got to keep a roof over the head. It is what it is.
But
that's the thing,
it's a different time, but everybody is so traumatized over things.
They're so emotional.
That, like,
but
okay,
again,
you're 40 years old.
But here's the thing.
Get on with it.
Here's the thing, though. we're sitting here going, they're so emotional. As earlier in the night, we were talking about we need to teach kids that it's okay to feel your feelings. And
There's feeling your feelings, and then there's being.
and then there's, well, but then there's.
My whole life is blah, 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 blah.
No. There's feeling your feelings and working through them and moving on from them in a healthy way.
I'm teaching my kids to feel their feelings and handle their shit.
That's what I'm saying. There's a difference between feeling your feelings, deciphering them, learning from them, moving on from them, and then just endlessly living in them and running your life by them.
Yes.
And that's where the problem comes in.
There's the woe is me
Well,
generation.
no, and then I think that's where the problem comes in, and they become a little too sensitive, and they, I never want to do that to my child, and this and that. And it's like, well, okay, but now you're actually doing something else to your child that's not so great. That's going to probably bite them in the ass as they become an adult.
Yep.
When they meet other people who are way less tolerant and won't put up.
And that's where
with it.
Employers are having problems these days.
Yeah. Well, it's where a lot of people are having problems. But we're going to kind of get into this a little bit in the next episode as well.
Ooh, we are?
To a certain extent.
Okay.
It's going to be a little bit more about like kids in today's society and or what society is like potentially doing to children.
Oh boy.
Mentally and emotionally. But I don't know. I just think there's a balance. There's a healthy balance for a lot of things in life.
Yes.
And I think we as a society need to find the healthy balance a little bit better.
And don't get us wrong. There's a lot of parents out there doing it right.
100%.
There are a billion parents out there doing it in great ways, and at every age, But it's the ones screaming the loudest about the things that are wrong are usually the ones who are doing the most wrong.
Well, and here's my thing too. Like, we're all human. We're all learning as we go.
Well, some are unicorns.
Like, you're not a unicorn. I hate to tell you. I know in your brain you are. Anyway, what I was trying to say was, John will always revert back to unicorns, just so you know, for the future.
Yep. Get used to it.
What I was trying to say was that a lot of you made me lose my train of thought completely. We're all human, and one thing that I think a lot of kids actually forget about their parents, and like teenagers especially, your parents are also human. Your parents are also doing this thing called life for the first time.
Yeah.
And everyone's just trying to figure out shit as they go.
Yep.
And like mistakes are going to be made. But you got to try and find a balance somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people just take things way too far to an extreme where you actually end up causing a different type of damage, not the damage that you were trying to avoid causing, but now you're creating a whole nother problem.
Yep. And then we just give the kids pills and call it a day.
Oh, that'll be a whole other episode. If you want it to be, don't even.
Yeah, we'll talk about that some other time.
We'll have to have. I have a ton of friends that are like psychologists and psychiatrists, and one of them works particularly like with adolescents and families and
Got
stuff.
a seat right here on the couch.
Yeah, so maybe we'll bring, if he's willing, we can bring him in to kind of give us some insight on that.
Sounds good.
Sometime soon, while we're kind of on the topic of adolescence and society.
Well, that said, we should wrap up for today.
We should, and I think. Find your balance, people.
Yes.
I think that's the lesson.
And be kind to yourself.
Here.
I think that's another thing.
Yeah.
I tell all of my clients to be kind to themselves. Everybody's so inside their own head and they're beating themselves up. Mm-hmm. I always say, if you wouldn't say it to a friend, don't dare say it to yourself.
Yeah. And don't let your emotions completely run your life for you.
No. You got to get control of it.
It's okay to feel them, but like, don't let them make you feel like you're just crawling through the trenches all the time.
Yep.
Because I feel like that's how a lot of people, unfortunately, are living in today's world, and it's just not. It's not a fun or healthy way to go about everyday life. Mm-hmm. So on that note,
thanks for being here this week.
Yeah, find your silver linings, guys.
Yes. Did you have a good time this week?
With what?
with us.
Oh, today? You said
Yes.
this week, so
Oh,
I was going
today.
to be like, this week? No. Tonight? Yes.
Oh, good. You guys are gonna, when you come on this ride with us, you're gonna see, wait till we start arguing. There'll be shows where we have some serious fun chat conversations, and sometimes
I was much more subdued this time because I know that I don't have, with this particular topic, I don't have a ton of room to speculate or talk too much because I don't
you
have
did some good research.
I don't have the experience. Thanks.
I'm proud of your research.
Thank you. I have
My research is sitting home right now with Mom.
Yeah, I have an opinion, but I don't have firsthand experience. So I think I don't want to again, setting a boundary for myself because I'm self-aware.
And on that, we will see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Whatever medium you're watching this on, find us on all of the socials, and it is Totally Random Podcast.
Totally Random Thoughts
podcast on every social media network. So make sure you look it up. And we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Oh, that was good.
I do the guns, you do a point. Rock on, guys.